Hi, this is Shu with a review of the hotly anticipated k8iros Mark II. It's spelled with an 8 in the middle, but you're not supposed to spell it like a k8iros. It's just Spencer Dinwiddie's jersey number. I love the design of the logo. He did an amazing job. I guess you could call it some type of an anagram. It's got S for Spencer and a D for Dinwiddie, and this also represents number 8 as his jersey number, and also this looks like a B for Brooklyn Nets. It shows the city silhouette, and this version is sort of like um, I guess you could call that a graffiti design concept. The knit material here on the other colorway, they've actually had TP or rubber or plastic reinforced thread interwoven together, but here instead you just have knitted upper with a little bit of a variation in terms of the tightness or rigidity or the concentration level of needed materials there. It's fairly soft and flexible, so there's no pinching sensation when you're moving around in your shoes. So that's good. It feels like it's already been seasoned to fit your foot, but unfortunately, it's not very breathable. So you feel quite hot if you wear this for a prolonged period under the hot sun. So that's one downside to it. Wish he drilled a hole somewhere or used a bit of a different material to provide ventilation. But again, I'm going to have to remind myself over and over again that Spencer Dinwiddie did his own research, or went to China, talked to Jeremy Lin to find out more about the possible connections in Jeremy is Taiwanese, but of course he speaks Chinese and he understands the Chinese culture, so he would have helped, and he probably has friends in China again. So Spencer Dinwiddie during the off-season kept flying back and forth to various places in China where they were developing these chemical compounds, or they were working for major companies to develop these chemical compounds or make certain shoes or last or molds or whatnot. So he did his research. He's been obsessed about shoes, and he always wanted to make his dream shoe. And instead of signing a lackadaisical deal with a major brand, he decided to focus on creating his own. There were internet businesses that help with influential figures with their business endeavors, so they helped, and a Chinese company that worked on the chemical and their knowledge of the shoe making process collaborated well, and Spencer Dinwiddie specifically wanted the most expensive, the most advanced foam chemical compound out there in the market that hasn't been used in any shoes yet. What we know is, in terms of the chemical compound and the energy return, the responsiveness, the shock absorption properties, the best out there has been Boost. But Boost, of course, has its shortcomings, and the Boost pellet that's been provided by the German company Wasp, it needs to be cooked or chemically altered or dealt with, handled a little bit differently to find out what kind of density, what kind of balance, what kind of properties the companies, whether it's Adidas or Puma, could work and develop with. So instead, Dinwiddie went for this particular chemical. He named it Chrono Foam. It's a little bit more higher end and more expensive, and the procedure of making it is probably a little bit more complex than cooking the rice bits given by BASF to make Boost. It certainly feels awesome. Congratulations, and we thank Spencer Dinwiddie for introducing this product and this chemical compound in the market for ballers. And because he cut down on marketing shenanigans, he basically, I don't think he has any TV commercials or ads on magazines, but instead what he does is, this is Mark II, during the first Chronos is the cushioning, k8iros shoe, he had 100 different designs, as in the shoe is the same, but he would collaborate with a sneaker artist nicknamed Picasso to come up with a different painting or different player exclusive concept for the shoe. So 100 different pairs for 100 different occasions to commemorate 100 different events, individuals, or places. So before he went to each game, he would upload what shoe he's wearing, and he would auction it off, and the money that's raised will be used for charitable events, to charity organizations. So he did that, and that certainly turned heads, and a lot of news outlets wanted to extensively cover Spencer Dinwiddie and his charitable deeds as well as the shoe that he's creating on his own steam. It's not about hype, but rather substance. So, and it had soul, so it was good. As for this shoe, it's an upgrade from the first one. It has a very much of a silhouette of a bit of a PG3, Lillard 2, Kobe 5s maybe. But you can say that about a lot of shoes, and it could be a blatant, obvious ripoff, but this takes certain elements, certain aspects of certain successful shoes, crowd favorite, all-time favorites, and it's infused nicely into a sneaker that's his own. It's got a little bit of an asymmetrical, non-symmetrical lace loop arrangements here. But unfortunately, I wish the lace loop started from here, lower, because the toe box has a little bit of a space, not too much, but just a little bit. So personally, I would puncture little holes and add some more lace loops to provide some extra lockdown for me. The upper, it's nicely padded. It's like a nice thick neoprene type of material like you've seen in the Lillard 2s, except this is more open and more elastic and flexible. So as long as your lace loops are not tightened to the max, you can really slip your foot in and pull it out with ease. But it's not like it's gonna have any heel slip issues because there's sufficient padding around the Achilles and the ankle as well. The upper material is a little bit of a TPU type of thread reinforcements here to ensure a little bit more of an ankle lockdown. The heel cup is very reminiscent of the Kobe's 5, 4s, and 6. And what I think is quite innovative about the k8iros Mark II is that the heel cup connects with this little part, this anti-inversion contraption that you have here. Some people complain that this might pinch into you, but personally, the foam in between did its job, and this provided the sturdy stability to prevent ankle rollovers. So this worked fine for me. I'm not an overpronator. I'm not an underpronator, so I have no problems. And when you're playing ball, you're not going to be on this side of your foot. You're always going to be on the ball of your foot and constantly moving side to side. So as long as there's compression on the medial side, it's good. And speaking of the medial side, just like the k8iros, it has aggressive blade patterns coming up all the way up here. So you will be doing your crossover moves or making lateral cuts or movements with greater confidence, because this is going to provide additional traction and bite as you move along. I love the little wordings he has, an audience of 1, and I don't think I need to explain what that means. Basically, it's like whether it's 1 or 1 billion, you go out there and play your heart out. That's what he's probably trying to say. One downside of it is that while this had a rather rigid plasticky type of TPU material to prevent ankle rollover, the outrigger here, it's a bit too soft. As you can tell, my fingers can push it up a little bit like that. So when your whole weight is compressed on it, it's not going to be doing its job as well. I mean, it's better than nothing, but I wish he would have used a little bit of a firmer type of TPU material here to make sure it provides additional stability and peace of mind to prevent ankle rollovers. So that's a little bit of a downside. The outsole pattern, it's got these relatively deep waffle pattern and the circular motion like a fingerprint or a thumbprint, but it's got little blade maze type of traction. So it's very much reminiscent of the k8iros 2s, which many say arguably has the best traction in any sneaker that's been out there. It's got nice little homage to one of Spencer Dinwiddie's heroes, Bruce Lee. So it says "Be like water," and it's flipped upside down. Be like water. Bruce Lee's most popular phrase. Be like water, my friend. Be like water. It's got a spring plate or a carbon plate or a plastic rigidity plate to prevent a warping or twisting on the outsole. And brilliantly and rightfully, it should have been, the plate is right underneath the outsole. So it does its job without hindering cushioning. A lot of Adidas and Nike models these days, even Peak sometimes, the plastic plate was placed right below your foot. So it really it makes your shoe like a clog before you can actually feel the cushioning of the midsole. So this is a very good job, and it's good to have it have some of the excess rubber dug out so you can reduce the weight somewhat. The foam, the highlight of the shoe is of course the Chrono Foam. It feels like the best of Boost and Bounce. It does not compress until it becomes flat like Boost, but it does not sink you in like a quicksand like Bounce. So it's got that quick energy return at the same time, that softness that you can feel. The insole is a pretty simple insole, EVA type of insole that's fairly soft, and it's also made with a new company, a company that probably focused on going green. So it actually indicates how much less water is wasted or used during the manufacturing, or how environmentally friendly it was in terms of the manufacturing process. So that's good. But because the thing is, the heel is great. The heel is awesome. It's low to the ground, but it provides excellent cushioning, as if it's got a good soft midsole with zoom air in it. That's how good it feels. But on the forefoot, it feels a little bit more flat and blend. So I wish overall there would have been a couple of millimeters of additional cushioning layers, or a little bit thicker. That would have been better. Or they use a Chrono Foam of a bit of a different density. That would have been better. But it's still good. It's got a good, decent heel to toe drop, and it's certainly better than what it could be very much compared to in terms of the overall cushioning feel, like the Kobe AD mids. I mean, it's got good heel compression. Kobe AD mids got good heel compression and cushioning and responsiveness. On the forefoot, it was basically almost nothing. Compared to that, it's got a lot more cushioning there. If you change up the insole to a polyurethane thicker insole, I think it would certainly help reinforce the cushioning, or improve the cushioning further, enhance the experience. The fit, unfortunately, is rather short. So for me, I go half a size up or a full size up when it comes to really tight and narrow and even short shoes like the k8iros 1, 2, 3, 4s. I had to go up a full size because it was so narrow and it was kind of short, and it like crushed my toes like tomatoes. The Zoom Freak ones, I've actually had to go up half a size, and I still felt a little bit short. So I ordered a size 9, and that's my usual size. For k8iros, I would go to size 10. For shoes like a lot of Kobe's, I go up half a size to 9.5. But because Spencer Dinwiddie is just starting out his business, and I think he's trying hard to make sure he can keep the price down. It only costs like slightly over $100, and that's crazy considering the tech that's involved and the thought that went into the shoe. But unfortunately, the fit is a little bit, if I go up a whole size, I'll really need to like reinforce like additional lace loops here and really lock down, and I'm not sure how that will work. But for a size 9, it feels a little bit too tight, and that's a bit of a problem. So if you're good with like a size 9 for a k8iros 1, 2, 3, 4, or a Zoom Freak, this is going to be a perfect fit for you. You're not going to have any pinching problems. But if you're someone who needs to go up half a size for shoes like the k8iros 1 through 4 and the Zoom Freak, you might have to go to a size 10, and then put additional laces there, or use thicker insoles or thicker socks maybe. So it's a choice you'll have to make. No half sizes. It's gonna be perfect size if you have small and narrow feet, and if not, you're going to have to make some adjustments.